What is going to be happening to all of the Disney parks over the next few years? My friends, we have a lot to discuss today, so roll that intro fast. Go, go, go. D23 happened, and it happened a lot. I am still tired from it, even though it was several days ago now that I'm recording this. But we got a lot of announcements, some might argue not enough announcements at all, for the parks all across the globe. And these announcements came primarily through two different ways. There was the Wonderful World of Dreams Pavilion. This was actually a walkthrough exhibit on the Expo Hall floor. Debuted a lot of the things that Disney is actively working on. I thought it was thrilling and exciting and fun. And then, of course, there was the Parks panel. It was a Boundless Future Disney Parks Experiences and Products hosted by Disney Chairman of the Parks, Josh D'Amaro. And that panel, well, people weren't too crazy about that panel. This was my first ever D23, and I know Disney fans, us crazy fans who are watching Disney's content and creating it on YouTube, are way too critical about a lot of the stuff Disney does. We whine about absolutely everything, and I try to stay out of that crowd as much as I can. But this panel was a disappointment. I was fortunate enough to actually be there in the panel in person, get some of the goodies from the panel, and watch it, even though I was in like the very, very, very back of the entire world to watch it. But the controversy is somewhat justified. And so today I wanted to go through every announcement for all of the Disney parks across the globe, the things that they're working on in that Wonderful World of Dreams Pavilion, and of course the things announced in the panel. I know every Disney YouTuber in the world and on Twitter is going through the same content right now, but I will compile it all into this one list, give it to you, give my insight, my opinions, and my predictions on it. I'll try to offer something new as best as I can, but really I just want to talk about it, and I thank you for listening. So let's get right into it. Let's start with Disneyland Paris. You'll have to forgive me. This is like a lot. I have like 6 pages of content here, so if I'm looking down, it's because, well, I have something of a script a little bit today. But the Disneyland Paris Resort is celebrating its 30th anniversary. And most of the announcements that were for this park are for the Walt Disney Studios park, which is really good because this is the least liked park out there, the least like Disney park out there. If you ask somebody who knows all the Disney parks, what is the worst Disney park? Most people will say Walt Disney Studios. And I don't think that should be the case. I don't think there should be an easy answer to that question. And so these announcements are really exciting. In the Wonderful World of Dreams Pavilion, there was like nothing for Paris. There was like big displays for all the parks and then like a couple pieces of concept art for Paris. But there are still some exciting things coming for Paris. So first, a new stage show is coming to the parks, a Pixar show. It's called We Belong Together. It'll be the grand finale of the 30th anniversary, this new stage show. I don't really know anything else about it. It is Pixar. The Disneyland Hotel over there in Paris is slated to get an update that will open in 2024. I believe construction is already underway. This is a 5-star hotel. This hotel is above the gates. As you pass underneath this hotel to get into, this is not Walt Disney Studios. This is Disneyland Paris. You pass underneath this hotel. Already a beautiful, phenomenal hotel, but they're adding Disney princess themes to it, including they showed concept art for a Frozen themed room. So these are suites. I assume you could pay a little more to the already very expensive hotel and check out some cool Disney themed rooms, princesses. Why not? Moving on, Paris, as I said, they didn't get too many really concrete plans. Their pavilion in the parks was kind of like, here's some concept art, but there are big plans ahead for the Walt Disney Studios in Paris. I don't know when, I don't know how, what they'll look like, but they are planning to add this whole lakeside district area, which will have lots of different components to it, one of which is this restaurant. The Lakeside District restaurant looks like a nice place to eat. More importantly, however, there will be Princess Elsa's castle, and presumably more of Arendelle. A frozen land in some capacity is coming to 3 different parks, none of which are in the United States, by the way. But Paris will be getting Elsa's castle. I'm not sure where exactly, but it will also have a Tangled Ride as well as a Frozen ride. I'm assuming these will be very similar to the rides that we'll get to a little later in the list, but we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. I assume the Frozen ride will be a Frozen Ever After ride. I believe more or less the same ride is going to be installed into 3 parks. I assume that's what's being built in Paris. This is speculation more than concrete evidence. The Tangled ride, I assume, will be a flat family dark ride. Josh spoke a little bit about that. Something for all ages. So let's just, a traditional dark ride. Sure, sounds awesome. Finally, it has been assumed at this point that Disney Paris canceled its plans to make a Star Wars land. They've been discussing Star Wars Land, a third one, at Paris for a while, and they haven't really talked about it at all. And they didn't make any official announcements about it whatsoever at this panel or at D23, but I think they still want to do it a little down the road. This concept art, which shows the new Lakeside District and shows Toy Story Land, you can also see Galaxy's Edge there. So Star Wars, they haven't given up on you, Paris. Star Wars might still be coming your way. That's Paris. Okay, that's not so bad. New lands, new stuff, beef up Walt Disney Studios Park. It might still be years down the line, but sure. Let's go to Shanghai. Shanghai doesn't have much. It's still Disney's newest park by far, but they're planning to add a full new area. Surprisingly, not Frozen, not Tangled. They are opting for a Zootopia expansion, which will be the first of its kind in the world. And this one is already under construction. So this is a lot less speculative than a lot of the Paris stuff. This is happening. In some capacity, this is happening. It's going to be a full Zootopia themed area, a family ride at the Zootopia Police Department. They showcase these little vehicles, models of the ride vehicles, and they look pretty nice, pretty cute. I assume you could have a pretty fun, whether it's a slow dark ride or I assume there'll be a little bit of speed to it. That's just a guess. They also showcased at the panel this animatronic for Clawhauser, which is looking great. He's still kind of got the LED digital screen eyes, which I don't think anyone really cares for, but the animatronic as a whole, he's looking pretty good. He's looking very good, in fact. And beyond that, the land will have the citizens of Zootopia putting on little shows as they go about their day-to-day business. They had this puppet show in the World of Dreams Pavilion. This was an example. I was talking to the Imagineers that were there, which this pavilion was awesome. The real Imagineers behind these attractions they had represented. You could just talk to them and ask them questions, and they couldn't say everything, but they were very excited to share some stuff. They were very vague to me about what these shows will be. I asked, are similar shows going to be in Zootopia Land, and will they be animatronics, or will they be puppets? And I didn't really get straight answers, as if whether or not the shows would be in the land whatsoever, or if they were just showing something for fun. So we'll see. I assume there'll be little window shows, but time will tell. Zootopia Land looks awesome. I'm a huge fan of Zootopia. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. I think it's very fun. I would love to go see this in Shanghai someday, and it is on its way. Moving along, I said that's really all there was for Shanghai Zootopia Land, but cool. Moving on to Hong Kong Disneyland, there will be a brand new statue of Walt and Mickey sitting on a bench. And one sec, I got some free swag from going to this panel, and that might have been the highlight of the whole panel. But let me grab something that they gave us. They did give us this little printout here. Forgive the light reflecting; it's still wrapped. But yeah, this is the Castle of Magical Dreams in Hong Kong behind Walt and Mickey sitting on a bench, kind of to represent, that day Walt was sitting on a bench and said, hey, I want to make a theme park. That's a very short version of the story. But there it is. New statue, sure, why not? New Arendelle Land. There's not Tangled in this one. Hong Kong is the only one without any other IPs being tied to this fantasy expansion. It's just going to be Frozen. It's going to have 2 rides, however, and it's going to open in the second half of 2023. So this thing is on its way, right around the corner. The 2 rides are as follows. One is Wandering Oaken Sliding Sleighs. That's kind of a mouthful. Disney is not killing it with naming things recently. But this is the Oriental Land Company, so it's kind of not Disney. But anyways, this is the first ever Frozen roller coaster through the frozen mountains of Arendelle. It looks potentially very similar to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, a train roller coaster ride, but you're on sleighs, so that is quite fun. They showed concept art and they showed this ride vehicle. Both look pretty stellar. Frozen Ever After boat ride is also being built in Hong Kong Disney. I assume, again, it'll be the same ride more or less as Frozen Ever After in Epcot. They also had a model of this raft here. Paris did not actually display a model of this raft, so I might have been wrong and maybe Paris is going to get something totally different Frozen related, but Frozen Ever After for sure coming to Hong Kong. Hong Kong also showed off some of the cast member outfits for Arendelle, which they look super cute. I like them. Disney does a great job dressing their cast members to look like they belong wherever they're at, and I love that, and so this will look great. LaCroix break. Let's move on to Tokyo. Tokyo Disneyland is celebrating its 40th anniversary. The Space Mountain in Tokyo Disneyland is getting a giant refurbishment. I'm not sure completely, but from what I understand, they're going to pretty much raise Space Mountain to the ground and start over. It's not going to start construction until 2024, but it is slated to be done and open by 2027. The Space Mountain will completely transform the plaza of Tomorrowland around that area and will supposedly make the ride itself more immersive and more thrilling, whatever that means. I really want to get to Tokyo someday. I hope to do it before this is open, but if I have to wait, I will wait, because the new Space Mountain sounds stellar. I do have a theory about this ride that the other Disney YouTubers might not be bringing you, okay? They gotta be paying attention. They haven't announced much besides the concept art for this new Space Mountain, but I have good reason to believe that the story, they're going to be giving this ride a story, a new story. They have confirmed a new story will be part of the ride, and I have reason to believe that it will tie into the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, okay? During the Society of Explorers and Adventurers panel on day one of D23, a Disneylander viewer who I had the pleasure of meeting, awesome, fantastic, so surreal and cool, asked a question at the panel, and it was a really dang good question. He asked, hey, since they're redoing Space Mountain over there in Tokyo, is there any chance that we'll get to see some SEA adventures in space, maybe a new member? And the panelists were all Imagineers behind the stories and world of SEA, and they just shut up. They went quiet and they looked at each other. And one of them sheepishly said, we can't talk about the new Space Mountain ride. Look, Imagineers behind SEA can't talk about the new Space Mountain ride. We're gonna get a new SEA member and he's gonna be on Space Mountain. It's gonna be awesome. Anyways, moving on from that, Tokyo has the most exciting announcements of all. Tokyo Disney Sea has what I think is going to be the coolest thing Disney's going to do for a long time, which again, this is the Oriental Land Company, and Disney Sea is already the best park on the planet, so why they get the best new expansion beats me, but it's just more of a reason to go there once this opens. Again, Disney Sea is celebrating its 20th anniversary, and they're currently constructing an 8th port of call. That is. You know, they have the Mediterranean harbor and the mysterious island and all these areas in the park that are centered around a body of water. So ports of call, Disney Sea. Okay, we got that. The 8th port of call will be called Fantasy Springs, and it's supposed to open in 2023. So this is also right around the corner. They were showing off some footage of the construction process. Man, this thing looks nearly done. Yeah, they got scaffolding everywhere, but it is well underway. Fantasy Springs, 8th port of call, a brand new comprehensive area to the already massive and already outstanding park. Fantasy Springs, from what I could tell, is essentially Disney Sea's take on Fantasyland. It's going to have 3 core things going on. First, it's going to have another Arendelle with another Frozen Ever After ride. They displayed the raft of this one too, and it looked more or less identical to the one in Hong Kong. Second, it is going to have a Tangled raft ride. Some might think that having 2 raft rides right next door is already overkill in a park that already has, at the very least, a Sinbad raft ride. But let me tell you what, I could never get enough Disney raft rides. If every Disney ride was a raft ride, I would still love Disney just as much. So I am thrilled about that, and I love Tangled. I'm especially excited for that attraction. Fantasy Springs will also have a 3rd IP. It will have Peter Pan, a whole area with Skull Rock, as well as another ride. It might even be 2 rides. In fact, I'm going to say it is going to be 2 Peter Pan rides because they gave 2 model ride vehicles that look substantially different and 2 sets of concept art. So I think it'll be 2 Peter Pan rides. The Pirate Boat ride, this is just a guess. I'm assuming the Pirate Boat ride will be a trackless ride following the story of Peter Pan. It'll be a Peter Pan ride through and through, while the other ride might be a more traditional family dark ride, maybe more targeted towards younger audiences, and it looks like it might shrink you down to the size of Tinkerbell and be more of a Tinkerbell ride. Those are my predictions. Either way, clearly, I'm speaking so fast and I am so excited that I absolutely need to start planning a trip to Tokyo. Like really, this is opening next year. I want to get there after it opens. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see it. It looks great. Finally, Fantasy Springs will also have an integrated luxury hotel, which Disney Sea already has one or two of these hotels that blend into the park. If we look at the Mediterranean harbor, it looks like you're in Venice, and there's this building there that looks like it's part of the set, and it is part of the set, but it's also a hotel, and they're doing that again for Fantasy Springs, and it's going to be a luxury hotel, and it looks beautiful. I assume this concept art is the hotel in Fantasy Springs. I can't actually confirm that for sure, but wow, Tokyo Disney Sea, you're already miles ahead of the rest of us. Why do you gotta keep showing off? Okay, so that's it for the overseas parks, and I think everyone universally thinks all of that is great. Everything I just said so far, everyone's like, wow, that's fantastic, that's cool, it's under construction, it's really gonna happen. Now we're gonna talk about Disney World. And you hear that this panel was bad. You hear that the parks announcement panel was controversial and stinky even. Some might go as far as to say lame, you know? Who knows what people are saying about this panel. And these announcements are why. Man, the US parks just got the weirdest assortment of announcements. And Disney World easily has the weirdest ones of them all. So let's start with some of the better stuff, some of the more concrete stuff that's for sure gonna happen. Happily Ever Fireworks Show, a beloved old fireworks show, returning to Magic Kingdom, reusing an old fireworks show. Sure, people liked it, bring it back. Tiana. Yes, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is opening up in late 2024. It'll be opening both in Disneyland and in the Magic Kingdom. I'm still not sure how it's going to fit into Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom. It's really in a weird spot in the park. It's like way on the edge of Frontierland, and you kind of got to pass through Adventureland. So it really can't. It's in the middle of the Frontierland on the edge of the park. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have to like make their own little New Orleans square over there. Disney will figure something out. I'm sure they already have a plan, and I'm sure that plan will be underwhelming. They'll just say, well, there it is. I'm assuming they'll just say there it is. But anyways, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is a terrible name, by the way. What the heck? I think that name is official, by the way. I have another prop that I was given at the panel that I forgot to grab before I started recording. So let me find that one. As we were walking in to the panel, they handed everyone something. And it's this. It says Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I thought it was a white flag of surrender. Because that's what I felt like doing. But this pretty much confirms that this is the name of the ride, and I think it's a terrible ride. I'm still going to be calling it Splash Mountain for the rest of time. You know, you're not going to get. What are people going to call it? Tiana's, the Bayou Adventure. People are either going to call it Princess and the Frog or Splash Mountain. No one's saying let's ride Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But they gave us these things so that we could like twirl them around or whatever. But like, what do I do with this now? This is a big weird square. I'm not putting it on my wall. It's not a towel. It's made of like silk. Anyways. The ride will take place shortly after the events of the movie, where Tiana opens her restaurant, Tiana's Palace, and becomes an entrepreneur and a community leader in 1927, New Orleans. And then, I guess at the start of the ride, she's like, well, I'm going to throw a party for New Orleans because I guess I'm taking Mardi Gras into my own hands now or something. I don't know. But she starts to throw this party, and she needs a special ingredient. She's like, I can't throw this party without this special ingredient. I'm assuming this special ingredient's like, I forgot the voodoo magic or something, you know, something intangible that she needs your help to go through the bayou, going down the bayou, going and find this ingredient, okay? I am way too amped up right now. I need to go to bed right after this. We know that the ride will have Tiana in her human form. It will have Louis the alligator in his alligator form, Prince Naveen in his human form, and Mama Odie. I can say those four things because the original voice actors for those four characters are all returning to the ride. They're not doing a Harrison Ford and letting some guy named Dave Temple voice his character on the ride. The original voice actors are coming back to voice their animatronics, which is a good thing. That's a great positive. Very exciting. We also got a preview of what one of the new animatronics might look like. Just some concept art here. It's not, I mean, I don't really know what I'm looking at here, but it's still unclear if they will reuse and repurpose any of the animatronics that are currently on Splash Mountain. I mean, a lot of them are all the way back from America Sings, so they're getting pretty old, but they're still like animal characters. So they might reuse some of these. I would really like to see these Swamp Gator Boys come back. I think they fit right into the vibe and the theme of it all. But time will tell. We might get a whole new cast of animatronics, or we might get some leftovers brought on to the adventure. Continuing on. They really didn't reveal much about the ride. they started talking about Mist. One of the Imagineers, it's like they were about to go in and tease some details about the ride, and one of the Imagineers was like, well, guys, you're going to be really excited about this. We got mist and lights. It's real Bayou magic. It's real Bayou magic. But when I think of Mist and Disney, I think of Davy Jones and I think of the Rat Log. Like two of the worst effects on a Disney ride ever. So we'll see how that real Bayou magic does. Again, time will tell. We have a little bit more information regarding this land or this ride, as it will be built in Disneyland rather than the Magic Kingdom. So I'll pause Tiana's Bayou Adventure there, and we'll come back to it a bit more at the end of the video with some more details that we got for Disneyland. Again, it's just Splash Mountain. It's Splash Mountain it's Frog Mountain is what it is. It's Frog Mountain. We also finally got an opening date for the Tron Light Cycle Power Run. Another, like, what is that name? I know it started in Shanghai, but like, just call it the Tron. That's it. It's just Tron, everybody. It's just Tron. But the Tron Light Cycle Power Run. Tiana's Bayou Adventure. My gosh, keep it under 5 syllables at least. The Tron Light Cycle Power Run in Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland is not going to open until spring of 2023, which is kind of mind-boggling. This ride has been under construction for nearly 5 years, I believe, and they're already testing it. Josh D'Amaro was like, yeah, I rode that ride the other day and it was awesome. So if Josh is riding the ride, just open it up. I knew that they were going to announce a date for this ride at the panel, but I thought they were going to say like, Tron Light Cycle Power Run opening next week. Everyone get in line, but they're like spring 2023. I guess they're giving everyone time to reserve dates. I don't know. I don't know what's taking so long, but whatever. Finally, for the Magic Kingdom, this is an interesting one. The Hatbox Ghost is being added to their Haunted Mansion. What a random little tidbit to throw in there. This was met with lots of applause. People love the Hatbox Ghost. I love the Hatbox Ghost, but I'm not particularly excited about it coming to the Haunted Mansion. I mean, Disney World has a great Haunted Mansion. It's fantastic, but the Hatbox Ghost is one of the core things that makes the Disneyland one really special. I mean, I guess they don't need to be the same ride, but this is neither good nor bad. This is just a thing that Disney's doing. It's just happening. And then we got a couple truly disappointing updates for Epcot. Let me first remind you, back in 2019, there was a D23 before COVID. It's supposed to be every 2 years. We had to wait 3 for this one. 2019, a D23, and they announced Epcot is being changed. I mean, we already got Cosmic Rewind, Guardians of the Galaxy, but they also said, let's redo Spaceship Earth and make it much, much better. Yeah, they just kind of abandoned that idea. And then they said, let's build a Mary Poppins attraction in the UK Pavilion in the World Showcase. And they're like, yeah, that's gonna be cool. And then they're like, nah, let's just scrap that idea, actually. Let's not do that. And then they're like, Play Pavilion. I don't know what the Play Pavilion is, but let's do it. And we haven't heard a word on it. So I don't know what's happening to Epcot, okay? I do know that there will be a brand new show on the World Showcase Lagoon to replace Harmonious. And now let's keep in mind, Harmonious came out less than a year ago, and they built these massive barges, and it's supposed to be the biggest nighttime spectacular Disney has ever put on. But here's the thing, everyone hates those barges. The World Showcase Lagoon is absolutely beautiful, and the barges sit there in the middle of the day and completely destroy the sightlines. So I'm hoping they just throw those barges right out the door. Just get them out of there. I'm kind of hoping for drones. I mean, Paris's 30th anniversary has had this really awesome drone show, and I'm hoping that over the World Showcase Lagoon, that would be pretty zesty. But we'll see. That's going to come out really soon. Going on. Supposed to debut by the end of the year, that show, by the way. Okay. We also got some updates on the still kind of mysterious Moana Journey of Water attraction that'll be coming to Epcot. This will be a walkthrough attraction, and it's going to be oriented around water. I think it's going to be really interactive. Lots of, I don't know necessarily a splash pad, but water that you can interact with. I'm assuming it'll do magic stuff like splash you in the face. The World of Dreams Pavilion, again, that wonderful World of Dreams, that walkthrough pavilion at D23, showcased a small model of Te Fiti. They'll be putting Te Fiti in the Moana Journey of Water attraction somewhere. So that'll be cool, just big plant lady. I don't know if she'll do anything or if she'll just be like a hedge. Either way, she'll be there. I like Moana. Like Zootopia, Moana is one of my all-time favorite movies. I just have a lot of good memories surrounding that movie. It's a fantastic movie, and I think it'll be something for kids to do, which the parks all need more of. But I think this whole thing's kind of underwhelming. They haven't announced that much about it yet. Like I said, Mary Poppins ride was canned, and Spaceship Earth retheme was canned, but Moana Journey of Water, we're still gonna follow that journey of water, I guess. Again, opening in late 2023. There is one thing I want to add, though. I was talking to one of the Imagineers behind Moana Journey of Water while standing next to Tafiti, and I was looking at the map, and I was like, where is this even going to be? I don't know the layout of Epcot that much, so I was like, last time I was at Epcot, we had Future World and the World Showcase, and he's like, yeah, that's Future World's nothing anymore. And so I was like, where is this attraction going to be? And he said, well, look at the map. That's the Play Pavilion right there. And I said, Play Pavilion? I still don't know anything about the Play Pavilion, but an Imagineer referred to a location on a map as the Play Pavilion. Kind of just a random tidbit I got from an Imagineer. It makes me think that they are still indeed going forward and constructing and working on the Play Pavilion. Again, that's one of those things that was announced during the 2019 panel that we haven't heard anything about since. But whatever the Play Pavilion is, it could still be coming around. So you players out there, you better get excited for that. And finally for Epcot, I think this was the most disappointing announcement of the whole panel. This felt like Josh D'Amaro walked all the way to the back of the entire crowd where I was sitting and just smacked me in the face. I just hit my houseplant so hard. I am so sorry, my friend. But that's what Josh felt like he did to me, okay? Josh, see, he starts talking, okay? And I start getting really excited because he was like, hey, in Epcot, there's a character that we know and love, and he's only in Epcot. He's like the mascot of Epcot. And everyone's like, Figment, Figment, Figment. Are they finally going to touch up Journey into Imagination with Figment? Because that ride has a great history and is currently a disaster. Currently one of the worst Disney rides of all time. It's embarrassing. It's like Superstar Limo level bad. And Josh is like, this character. And so the crowd's getting excited. People are starting to stand up out of their seats ready for the standing ovation. And Josh says, Figment, meet and greet, returning later this year. What? A meet and greet is returning? I mean, maybe this means good things for the future. I mean, Epcot still uses Figment like on their Food and Wine Festival advertisements and stuff. But like, come on. That was about to be the biggest announcement of the whole panel, and he drops me a meet and greet? Grr. Okay, that's everything concrete that we got for Disney World. But then we got the weirdest announcements of them all. Maybe the weirdest thing Disney has ever done at a parks announcement panel. And I honestly think that Disney just didn't have enough to announce this year. And they're like, well, how are we going to fill this time? Because I'm out of stuff to talk about. And so they brought us some Imagineers to talk about blue sky ideas. Now, blue sky Imagineering is when the Imagineers get together and brainstorm with they don't consider money, they don't consider physics, they don't consider anything. They just say, let's dream up something. And so they showed us some concept art. Now, this is stuff Josh was like, this is very real. We are considering these things and planning these things and discussing these things. I will bet you like $1,000. I don't know. I'll bet you a sum of money that none of these things are ever going to happen. And if they do, it's going to be like a decade before they even start construction. But the Imagineers come out and they're like, well, let's imagine Dinoland. And I was like, okay, are they finally retheming Dinoland? Good. Knock that thing to the ground. A lot of people love Dinoland. I think they are entitled to their opinion, and I don't like Dinoland. So I'm like, all right, great, let's raise Dinoland to the ground. I'm thinking like maybe that Indiana Jones South America area that I've been dreaming of for years. And they're like, well, let's imagine instead of Dinoland, we get Zootopia. And now the guy in front of me started booing so loud. I was like, what?
What immediately came to mind when thinking about Animal Kingdom was Zootopia.
Not boo. Actually, yay. Actually, not boo. Not boo at all.
I was a little surprised by the idea, but I wasn't going to start standing up on my tippy toes and booing. Zootopia, which, yeah, they're animals. Joe Rohde, the guy who built everything in Animal Kingdom and is now retired, never wanted Zootopia and Animal Kingdom because they are animals representing human issues rather than animals representing animal issues. I get that. I like Zootopia a lot, as I said, but I think it would fit better in the Magic Kingdom, or maybe even Disney's Hollywood Studios. But they're like, Zootopia instead of Dinoland. Or perhaps, imagine this, just picture this. Imagine if maybe instead of Dinoland, there was Moana. Okay. Yeah, I'm imagining that. I was thinking of it. I think Moana actually could be a decent fit for the Animal Kingdom, but a little tease, I plan to discuss Dinoland a lot more in an upcoming video, and we'll talk about Moana a bit more there. But then they moved on to the Magic Kingdom, and they're like, we all know and love Big Thunder Mountain. And I'm like, hey, don't you touch Big Thunder Mountain. And they're like, well, what could be behind Big Thunder Mountain? Let's just imagine. What if you go behind Big Thunder Mountain and you find the World of Coco? I'm like, all right, that'd be sweet. Kind of an expansion of Frontierland, maybe. We should note, though, that behind Big Thunder Mountain is the River of America. And getting people there would either involve big bridges and a lot of walking or filling in part of the Rivers of America. So, Coco Land, right there, just right behind Big Thunder Mountain where there's currently water. And then they're like, well, what if instead, or in addition to, or we'll do one or both or none, what if there was the Encanto? And you could walk through the casita with Mirabel. All right, that'd be sweet. What if? That's great. And they're like, well, what if behind Big Thunder Mountain there was a land of the Magic Kingdom completely overrun by villains? And I'm like, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I would like a villain area. That'd be cool. Of those three ideas, that was the one to excite me the most because I love Disney villains. I think having like this sinister area that's a little creepy, kind of like a Nocturne Alley in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Like, oh, we found the bad part of town here. And it's evil and it's scary and the restaurants serve slop and green things. I think that'd be really cool. Will it ever happen? I don't know, because they're like, what if maybe, here's one concept art. Now keep in mind, this is just one piece of concept art that I drew last night, so, who knows? Honestly, these concept arts, now that AI art is becoming a thing, which I hate, by the way, this looks like an AI just made this. Like, I was like, a Disney Encanto Coco Villains Land map concept art. And the AI is like, here you go. Like, all right. Nice. Anyways, that's enough of that. That's all of Disney World's announcements. Kind of nothing. Okay, kind of nothing real. We'll see what happens. Disneyland got a lot of announcements. So this is the last chunk of this video, but it is a sizable chunk. And thank you, by the way. I've been recording audio for 40 minutes. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to trim down, but I'm excited about a lot of this, and I'm not excited about a lot of this, and I just like to talk about it. So thank you for watching. I'm having a good time, so I hope you are too. Let's get on to Disneyland. A lot of announcements. A lot of them are nothing. Like, why did you even bother announcing that? And a lot of them are pretty cool, but like the rest of the panel, pretty underwhelming as a whole. We'll start with Downtown Disney, which is getting a rework. We know that Disney was planning to build a massive new luxury Disney Vacation Club hotel at that one end nearest the Disneyland Hotel, and they were gonna close down the Earl of Sandwich and tear down the theater and do all this and that, and then Anaheim's like, by the way, you can't put a hotel there. And Disney's like, oops. But they are doing stuff there now. Josh announced that there will be 12 new things coming to Downtown Disney, including Din Tai Fung, a very nice, well-liked Chinese restaurant, and a Porto's Bakery. That's all he announced for sure, but oh my gosh. Another one of the goodies we got at that panel was a little box that had 3 Porto's pastries in it. It had like a cream cheese roll and like a cinnamon croissant and a passion fruit mango cookie. Those were like the best pastries I've ever had. Those things were so good. I was so excited. Those pastries made me look back on the panel and go, is that an announcement that I'm the most excited for on this whole panel? That Downtown Disney's getting a Porto's? And Porto's also has like Cuban sandwiches and these little potato balls apparently that are filled with meat and happiness. So Porto's is coming to Downtown Disney, everybody. That's the best thing I have to offer you today. Those things were tasty.
No, that's really, really good.
Going on, there's also some hotel updates. The Disneyland Hotel is getting a 4th tower. Now, this is kind of the compromise for the DVC Hotel. This will be a Disney Vacation Club tower. Rooms, I believe all of the rooms will be Disney Vacation Club rooms, which, you know, if you don't have Disney Vacation Club, is like, well, why do I care? But it is nice because currently there's only one little wing of the Grand Californian for DVC members, while Disney World has hundreds of rooms across their many resorts for DVC members. Disneyland only has the one little wing. So this whole tower, I'm excited for. Construction is well underway. I think it's a great idea. DVC members should have a little more space. My in-laws are DVC members, and their home resort is Disneyland, meaning that they get priority. They get bigger discounts at the Disney rooms, but like I said, there's only a couple DVC rooms. Well, now there's going to be a whole another tower of them, so that is a good thing. And then Paradise Pier Hotel is getting rethemed to be Pixar, which I expected would happen a long time ago. Right when I heard about Paradise Pier becoming Pixar Pier, I was like, well, does that mean Paradise Pier Hotel is going to become Pixar Pier Hotel? Yes and no, because yes, it is becoming Pixar, but for some reason they're calling it Pixar Place Hotel. Why? Just call it Pixar Pier. Disney. Who is naming these things? Pixar Place? Let's go to the Pixar Place, everybody. I don't know. There's going to be Pixar characters around to meet and greet. There's going to be a splash pad themed for the Finding Nemo movies, Finding Dory. I don't know. Yeah, splash pad. So that'll be cool. It needs love. That hotel is the least of the Disney hotels, but I assume a retheme means they'll hike the prices up a little bit, which is a downside because that's supposed to be, it's still really expensive, but the affordable on-property hotel. Okay, going on. Disney Run will return to Disneyland in 2024. It's essentially a marathon run through California Adventure and through the Esplanade and through Disneyland. If you're into marathons, if you're into Disney, sounds really cool. It's kind of just a one-time event. Maybe they'll make it annual again. I don't know. We just know for sure 2024 it'll be back. And then a couple rapid fire things here. World of Color. A new World of Color show is coming. For some reason, they're calling it World of Color 1. Xbox One, even though it's the third model. Anyways, a new fireworks show called Wondrous Journey is coming that will apparently reference all 60 Disney movies. I'm not very excited about this fireworks show. They gave a live performance of like the theme song for the fireworks show, and I almost fell asleep. It did not feel very wondrous. And then all 60 Disney movies? Like, I go to Disneyland for the parks. I like when the fireworks emulate the stretching room and talk about Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, I'm there for the rides and for the parks. And if it's just about the movies, yeah, you see what I'm talking about. Anyways, a new fireworks show. New meet and greets, Mandalorian and Grogu meet and greet coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Eventually that will make its way to Florida, but it's starting in Disneyland. And a Hulk meet and greet is coming to the Avengers Campus. Now they're previewing this meet and greet, whatever that means, either this week or next week. And then it'll come back permanently later, and I assume eventually he'll make his way over to Paris as well. So many meet and greets. So many meet and greets. I don't care. I know some people love meet and greets, so cool. But, like, give me one ride, please. The Wonderful World of Dreams Pavilion was also showcasing this new 3D printed musculature technology. I'm assuming that's how they made the Hulk costume, and I'm also assuming they will be using the same technology for more costumes in the future, maybe even animatronics down the road. So that's a thing. Staying in Avengers Campus, we finally got an update on the third attraction that is supposed to be built there. Back in 2019, during the D23 Expo Parks panel announcements, they said a third ride is coming to the Avengers Campus. You're going to hop aboard a Quinjet. This, you know, we got that whole structure that kind of does nothing in Avengers Campus, and it has a Quinjet parked on top of it. People assumed that would be the entrance to the queue, and you would hop aboard a Quinjet and go on some adventures, maybe go to Wakanda or something. I don't think they really talked about it very detail, but it seems like they completely scrapped that idea and instead said, let's do something else because that's too hard, or I don't know. They're going to be making another e-ticket attraction that will be centered around the Marvel Multiverse, which, let me just stop right there and say, Marvel's already too much for me when it's just one verse, one universe. So when you start bringing in Multiverse, and it's like, oh, now we got Kid Thor and Girl Spider-Man. I'm like, whoa. you lost me. Like, you really lost me. But this ride will apparently take place in a multiverse, into a timeline where Thanos won. Thanos won, they announced, and the crowd went, ooh. And his name is King Thanos, and he has a white beard and a crown. It's just Thanos. But it's going to be a dark ride. I assume it's going to be a dark ride. They called it an attraction. Disney calls everything attractions. But they also gave us this poster. This poster makes it feel more official than the Quinjet ride ever felt. Because here we are. D23 Expo exclusive. Coming to Avengers Campus, Disney California Adventure Park. So maybe, I don't know if Paris is ever going to get this thing. But we'll just see. You know, we got like a bunch of Spider-Mans and a couple Thors and a King Thanos. And then a ride vehicle. There it is, a ride vehicle. My assumption, when I picture this ride in my head, I assume it's going to be like a Universal ride, maybe a trackless dark ride with a whole lot of screens and a couple practical effects. I bet it'll be okay. I don't think it'll be as good as Rise of the Resistance. It'll probably be better than Spider-Man Web Slingers. We don't really know anything else about it, though. We'll have to see what it is when it gets here. Of course, that's assuming they ever actually make the ride, because maybe they'll just scrap it and announce a different one in 2 years. Time will tell. Okay, we're almost there, and my voice is almost going to give out because I've been talking. Okay, time for another LaCroix break, gamers. Hold on. Okay, Toontown. We got official reopening announcements. We'll be reopening early 2023, so it's right around the corner. I'm very excited for a lot of Toontown. Mickey's Runaway Railway will be opening, but it's not like it is in Disney's Hollywood Studios over in Florida. The ride might be more or less the exact same, but the exterior and the queue are very different because we're not in Hollywood, we're in Toontown. So it's in the El Capitan Theater. Very clever, very funny El Capitan Theater. Yada. And it looks really awesome. They had models for Toontown as a whole. You can notice here they are ripping up some of the fountains and they're opening up a lot more space so that Toontown feels a lot less cramped. And then they're gonna add a lot of shade. Dad, you've been complaining about shade for so many years in Toontown. They heard you, okay? They heard you. Disney heard you, okay? They did. And they're going to be opening up this big courtyard, lots of shade, relaxing, some chill, quiet times next to the El Capitan Theater. And don't you worry, Roger Rabbit is still there. I asked the Imagineer, I confirmed Roger Rabbit and Gadget's Go Coaster as well will still be there. In addition to that, though, they will be opening up this big play area. And this is great. Bugs Land went away. Okay, we still got like the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, but in Disneyland, there's really nowhere just for kids to go do kid things. I mean, there's kid rides, but Disneyland is a madhouse, and so they're going to be opening this gated section of the park that has one entrance and one exit, so parents can say, "Little Jimmy, go have fun in Toontown," and they could just sit there on a bench in the shade and enjoy. And little Jimmy can go explore the newest things there. It's a big play area, a big connected play area for kids. It will have a Donald Duck's boat will be turned into a splash pad. There will be, they said, an interactive sound garden. I don't know what that means, but it sounds delightful. Delightful. As well as lots of other playground-like activities. Just stuff for kids to do in a safe and fun place. I think that is very needed. I will have to pretend to be a child and run around on the splash pad. You know, what are you gonna do? And now for the single announcement that made me the most excited during the panel. This is the only announcement that I went like, oh yeah! And it's kind of minor as well. But the Pacific Wharf, one of the last original areas in Disney's California Adventure, and one of the most, it's just a food court. It's really underwhelming. But they showed concept art. Who knows whether or not it'll happen. I think it actually will, though. They are retheming the Pacific Wharf to San Francisco, which is the location where the movie Big Hero 6 takes place. I love Big Hero 6. I walked out of the theater when it was back in theaters, and I said, wow, I love that movie. That's a fantastic movie. And then Disney never talked about it again, kind of like you got like a Baymax pin here and there. But some real Big Hero 6 representation. San Francisco still fits. I mean, the Pacific Wharf is supposed to be like San Francisco. You know, you got Ghirardelli in there amongst the bread bakery, whatever it's called, in there as well. Some San Francisco originals. So we'll see what stays and what goes. It sounds like it'll be restaurants and shopping in the world of San Francisco. I hope they add like one little carnival ride. If we look over in Tokyo, they have the Happy Ride, which is a Baymax themed ride, but the Happy Ride is just Mater's Junkyard Jamboree. Exact same kind of ride with a different looking vehicle and some roofs overhead. And considering Mater's Junkyard Jamboree is like a 2-minute walk from the Pacific Wharf, that's probably not what's going to be there. But I hope they add some little ride, just fill it in a little bit, give a little more draw, some reason to go to San Francisco for something besides lunch. But I'm excited for that. I mean, that's a cool change. I think that could really shake up the area. It'd be something fresh and something new, something unexpected is the biggest thing about it. And finally, oh my God, I've been recording for an hour. Holy moly. Finally, we got more details for Tiana's Bayou adventure in Disneyland. Like I mentioned, we still don't know for sure. I still predict that Critter Country is going to be kind of pushed back just to be Winnie the Pooh, and New Orleans Square is going to engulf Tiana's Bayou adventure and be, the Bayou of New Orleans. I think it makes so much sense that they have to do it. If they don't do it, well, I'll be a little confused. But I think it's definitely going to happen. And I'm also still not sure if it'll happen, but I'm still thinking that the Blue Bayou restaurant is going to be rethemed into Tiana's restaurant. I think it's inevitable. I think it has to happen. I think it makes a lot of sense. I want it to happen personally, but we'll see. I suspect both of those things will happen. That's just what I'm saying, though. I have nothing to confirm or deny that, really. But just like Disney World's ride, this one is supposed to open in late 2024. And at D23, at that Wonderful World of Dreams Pavilion, we got to see a miniature model. And it just looks like Splash Mountain. It's less impressive than the original concept art for the ride was, where we saw Mama Odie's tree atop of the mountain. They just cut down the tree. We don't even get a tree stump like in Splash Mountain. It's just it's a hill. There it is. Yeah, enjoy the hill. And there's a water tower that says Tiana's whatever on it. Really not much going on. But this is roughly what it will look like. And I'm sure it'll be pretty. I'm sure it'll be even more beautiful at night, where they have lots of colorful lighting planned. All in all, it looks decent. That's what's coming. Let me shut this. I'm done. That's what's coming to the Disney parks. Or what might be coming to... That's everything that was announced and teased for the Disney parks. It's a lot, but especially for the US parks, we kind of got the short end of the stick. There's some cool things, but there's nothing to get really, really, really excited about. And I have one final question, Disney. Answer me this. What the heck is happening to Tarzan's treehouse? That thing's been tarped up for months. And I was assuming I was in Disneyland. I vlogged about it. I said, well, in just a couple days, we'll find out what's behind those tarps. It's probably going to be in Kanto. I don't even care if it's in Kanto. If you just repainted Tarzan's treehouse, if you just tore it down and there's nothing there at all, I don't care. Just tell me what it is. Why did you tell us? That's all I got. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a longer video than I typically upload, but that's everything we got. And it's exciting, it's disappointing, it's all of the above, but thank you so much. Some more Disneylanders coming soon. I got a Versus video, I got a video with Aurora. We're back, baby. We're here, and I am excited for it. So thank you. See you really soon, and I hope you enjoy everything. Just enjoy everything. Just enjoy everything.